In this week's Torah portion, in the wilderness, a place devoid of life, Jacob found a reason to celebrate life, to give thanks for his journey, and to look to the future with hope. Vayetze, and Jacob left. We leave the familiar behind. We begin our journeys. We resume our journeys. We leave, and then in the quiet of the night, in the silence of our heart, a voice calls. The ladder ascends. The dream begins. Vayetze, and Jacob left. Jacob, alone, far from home, lies down for the night with only stones for a pillow and dreams of a ladder with angels ascending and descending. I've always loved this Torah portion. Rabbi Phyllis, for all of you new members, will definitely tell you that this is her favorite Torah portion because every Torah portion is her favorite Torah portion. But in my family, I love this Torah portion. It was my son Ben's bar mitzvah Torah portion. It was my niece Anna's Torah portion. And it was the Torah portion that I used and was given, assigned for my 5th year senior sermon at Hebrew Union College. Jacob woke up from this amazing dream and said, "Surely God is in this place, and I did not know it." Surprised, shaken. He could have stopped there with that statement, but he didn't. He continued. Ma norah hamakom hazeh, how awesome is this place? He could have stopped there, but he didn't. He continued. Ein zeh ki im Beit Elohim. It is none other than the Beit Elohim. It is none other than the house of God. The sentence could have ended there, but it didn't. He continued. V'zeh sha'ar hashamayim. It is none other than a stairway, a gateway to heaven. What makes a synagogue awesome isn't just clergy and staff and a board that's amazing. It's not just Ken and Noah and our music team. It isn't the programs that we do, like the amazing tour of Stonewall at the Holocaust Museum that some of you participated in today, or the courageous conversation that will take place on Wednesday with Dan Shapiro's new book, The Thin Ledge, or a Craig Taubman concert that will be coming up at the end of this month or beginning of next month. Any synagogue can do those things. We need to always view Am Shalom, our synagogue, as a house of God, as a gateway to heaven. What we do here should have a sense of urgency and meaning filled with spirituality and with purpose. In this house of God, amazing things can and will happen if you allow it, if you open yourself up like Jacob did to know that God, surely God is in this place and I didn't know it. I kept thinking about my senior sermon given on November 7th, 1994. Were you even born? That was the last sermon that I preached at Hebrew Union College in front of the faculty and staff at morning services. And then after lunch, we returned to the upstairs room where they would show a video of the sermon, and I would sit around with my classmates and professors, and they would critique it. I kept thinking about that sermon this morning, and I texted a friend. I'm like, do you have a copy of it? They published it in a book. I couldn't find the book, and I went digging in a box in my closet, and sure enough, I found Senior Sermons preached in the Scheuer Chapel, 1994, 1995. I looked all through my computer and realized that I didn't write it on a computer. I never knew at that moment what my rabbinate would be like. I never knew what I would experience. But I got the great thrill this morning and a few tears as I reread that sermon for the first time in a long time. As I peer into the future, I wrote, I'm saddened, deeply saddened, of what I see. I see these children of Jacob scattered over all the earth just as God promised. They're in cities and in suburbs. In fact, there's places named Bethel or Beth something in almost every city and country where Jacob's descendants prosper. Almost all organizations are involved in building structures that they consider to be houses of God. The union, called the UAHC at that time, established and coordinates events for synagogues and temples and holds biennial meetings. The school, HUC, is built to train those who will be leaders in these houses of prayer. And these houses of prayer are each one uniquely different. Some are traditional, some are modern, some are Hamish, and some are ostentatious. Yet most of these institutions fail to live up to Jacob's dream of being a Sha'ar HaShamayim, a gateway to heaven. They become empty, homes, structures, offices, buildings, with nothing to fill them inside. They have the potential to be gateways, but they never reach it. But it doesn't take much to make something awesome, I wrote 27 years ago. Jacob did so while encamped in the wilderness, away from the creature comforts that he had been used to. He had no pillows or blankets to protect him, just a pile of rocks and a vivid imagination. And then I wrote, if I had the chance, I would tell those descendants of Jacob, those leaders of his people, what this dream really meant. I'd tell them that they must focus less on the place where an experience happens and more on the people who create something meaningful within those spaces. They need to make their prayer experiences unique and heartfelt rather than standard or uniformed. They need to take risks. The children of Jacob need to make events happen in their congregations, whether there's 5 people or 500 people present. They need to dream great dreams and work hard to carry them out. Will they get it, I asked? I truly wonder if they will see that Jacob brought us to his vision. He made the moment happen. He was ready for a mystical experience. He was an active participant, not a passive observer. Leaders can create open spaces and movement only when people can dare to dream within it. This is my hope for those who follow Jacob. If they are lucky, they too will be able to take a simple space, combined with the right moment, the right experience, the movement that it takes from stasis to transcendence, from everyday life to a life of divine interaction, from a simple Beit Elohim, a house of God, to a Sha'ar HaShamayim, a gateway to heaven. As I see it, that's what Jacob wanted us to know. And so 27 years later, I hope that we all will be able to say, surely God is in this place, and I did not know it. And in another 27 years of fulfilling membership at Am Shalom, I too hope you'll be able to say, Ma norah hamakom hazeh, how awesome is this place. Ein zeh ki im Beit Elohim, it is none other than a Beit Elohim, a house of God. V'zeh Sha'ar HaShamayim, it is truly a gateway to heaven. In this house, anything is possible. In this house, in this congregation that Rabbi Kudan built with his own hands 50 years ago. And for the last 20 years, I've been honored to lead. We've tried, as I wrote about 27 years ago, to make it more than just brick and mortar, to truly make it a Sha'ar HaShamayim, a gateway to heaven. In this house, great things can happen, and so we put this little video together with some new members in it, so hopefully you might see yourself. But we can make great things happen, and we're so glad you're a part of it.
In this house, it all comes together in this house. In this house, It all comes together in this house of God. In this house beats the heart of the family. In this house is the center of a community. We study and we pray, find meaning in each day. In this house, in this house, in this house. In this house is a spark of God's creation. In this house there is joy and celebration. By song or by word, your prayers will be heard. In this house, in this house, in this house. In this house, in this house, it all comes together in this house. In this house, in this house, it all comes together in this house of God. In this house we can shelter, we can clothe and feed. In this house there is always help for those in need. A stranger makes a friend, becomes inspired again. In this house, in this house, in this house.